Hello, we are live. Hello. So, hello
Hello.
again. Today we are here to discuss There's No Such Thing as an ATD Job by Kikuku Tsumura. I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but yeah, this book. This was our March book, by the way. We're already in the middle of April, but that's just life, I
It
guess.
was a busy month for everyone.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. So what did we think of this book? Give me your rating.
Um, it was like a 3 to 3.5 star.
Same.
Yeah,
Exactly same. I think 3.5. Yeah.
yeah. Like I liked it, but it wasn't like exceptional or it didn't feel
Yeah.
special to me and it felt like pretty like there's not that much to analyze, but I may just be a pea brain and not be picking up on stuff, but it felt like there wasn't
Same.
that much to it besides like the lack of a
Yeah.
yeah.
Um yeah, it was a weird book, I guess.
Mhm.
Weird kind of story. Um but yeah, I just feel like with time I'm just gonna forget about this book altogether.
Yeah,
So it's not like super um like you were saying exceptional for me to give it
yeah.
a higher rating.
And I thought there was going to be a lot more like conversation on capitalism. And while like I think that there is a lot here that we like can talk about for a little bit,
Yeah.
um, it didn't like seem profound or like she had anything new to say or that the book said anything that I hadn't read already. So it was like underwhelming in that aspect too, because I thought it was going to be like everyone like this is a translated work. Like I think like I kind of oops, sorry, that was my work email.
That's
um
fine.
I kind of thought they would have more to say or it'd be more profound or more in my face or something, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah. In the first kind of chapter or like job she had, I thought it was going to lean a lot more towards like a criticism to the capitalist society that we live in and
Yeah.
work and how you have to do all these. Do you want to come in? No, because Pedro read this book last week, right?
Oh,
So if you want to wait, he wants to comment clearly. So he
yeah,
was just
come
like
on over
reading.
here.
So
Wait, what did you rate it, Pedro? Do you
yeah, what is your rating?
I gave it 4 or 4.5. I think it was 4.
Oh,
Yeah, he liked
I
it
liked
better
it.
than we did. So I want
Yes.
to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the whole vibe of the thing where you don't really have control over anything and things just happen randomly. I like that. Like when things just happen because yes, it's like that moves me.
But weren't you expecting a little bit more criticism at the beginning?
Yes, maybe. I think that the book tried to be a bit um, not agnostic, but like it's just showing reality, not really commenting on it. It's
yeah,
Yeah.
just, you know,
And that's what bothered me because I wanted to have like more in-depth
yeah,
things that like you would read and obviously criticize in your head, but it was just like one tone throughout the whole book, just like telling the story of this girl having a lot of jobs.
yeah. It felt like very meandering, and like
Yeah.
she never like had a full transformation.
Yeah.
She was just like going through all these different experiences and like experiencing them, and then like
Yeah, and
moving on.
at the end, I was also expecting her to have like this breakthrough thought of like how jobs are, I don't know, they massacre you and,
Yeah,
just like all of these deep things about having so many jobs that kind of,
yeah, but she kind of hinted a bit towards because I think if I read correctly that she was working like in health, so maybe like a nurse or
yeah,
something, and she kind of hinted towards like being burned out because of
hmm
it. So maybe there's some criticism there, I would say.
being burned out by the health system or by the other jobs that she had
By
in
the
the
health
book?
system, like
Well,
because the book begins with her being burned out, and that's why she
yeah,
had to.
like I kind of interpreted it as her being burnt out, and now that's why she was looking for all these like uh, less
Side quests.
intense jobs.
Yeah.
Um, and at the end of it, like the whole point, and this is kind of, I guess, what threw me for a loop or what I didn't fully love was that like the point of the story is the title. There's no such thing as an easy job.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a little cheesy. But it was, yeah, she basically found out that like doesn't matter what you work at or where you work, like your
It's
perspective is
not
just
easy.
real. Yeah, reality is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much it. At the end, I was just kind of, okay, it's an okay book, I guess. I was
Yeah,
expecting a little bit more.
yeah.
And
I
which
tabbed a
one,
lot though.
really?
Yeah.
What did you tab? Like quotes or just like parts of the
Um,
book that you thought were interesting?
I thought there were a lot of lines that were like really reflective of capitalism and like my work experience.
Yeah.
And wait, hold on. I have my little definitions. Relatable. Oh, I have
Oh my
one for
God, you have color definition.
yes, I do.
Oh my God. I
Oh, I have
literally
a
just
couple
grab the
questions.
first one I see and that's it.
But it looks so pretty, though. I mean, you chose good colors. I don't know. I don't know if you can see. There's like purple and
Yeah,
green and pink and orange.
I put one of each,
Yeah.
but it's just random.
Yeah, I choose it based on like the theme of the book, like the color
Okay.
tones. Um,
Amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
so on page 65, she
Let me-
says,
Yeah.
somewhere in my head, I guess that somewhere in my head, I had been feeling like I had him pretty well down. And I think that's about her boss. Like she thought she knew him. And then she
Oh.
goes, oh no, the guy she was watching in her first job.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, now I discovered there were simple, very superficial habits of his I didn't have the faintest clue about. I felt a headache coming on and made the decision right then and there to not renew my contract.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought it was interesting that like her realizing like this basically the lead up of this chapter is her feeling like she knew everything about this guy and she was like, I'm so good at my job, I'm an expert, or like this is great. And then she realizes that she doesn't know him as well as she thought she did, and she's like, okay, that's the end of that. New
Yeah.
job.
That's kind of yeah. That's kind of the same feeling I get from social media. You watch this person all the time and you feel like you know them and then you just
Oh,
don't.
I didn't think it in that sense. Like I thought I took it very literally, but that's a good analogy as
No,
well.
I
Like
was just comparing
yeah,
the two
but no, but
scenarios,
it's
but
an interesting insight because I only thought it okay, so it's a surveillance job. She's just looking at the guy.
yeah, you can kind of compare it.
Yeah,
Maybe the author
Yeah.
wanted to do something like
it's
maybe
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually a wild comparison because I didn't even think about that.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I only thought of it when you read that phrase. So yeah.
Oof.
I was actually gonna ask you what was your favorite job to read about?
Oh, okay. So I really liked the forest job, but I think
Really? That was
yeah.
so scary.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't know if this is just like the American in me, but like I feel like I've been conditioned to like prepare for like the worst thing possible. So I'd be like, well, I'm gonna be alone. Someone might kill me. Someone might attack me. Someone could have a gun. Like I'd be like
Yeah,
so
that's
worried.
definitely an American experience because I don't think like that. Well, maybe you
I think a
do.
lot like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's really
maybe it's
paranoid,
anxiety.
but yeah.
What about you?
But I thought that job was terrifying. Like just being alone all day in a cabin just seems like my worst nightmare, honestly. In the middle of
Oh, good.
nowhere, like in the forest, no, no, at all. I think I liked the surveillance job and also the
Oh,
cracker job.
the copywriter, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that was also interesting.
yeah.
But I think I like the surveillance job a little bit more. I don't know why. Because it's kind of set the tone in my head for what the book was going to be about, but then it kind of didn't because I thought it was just going to be all of these. Well, they kind of are. Well, not really. I'm just thinking in my head. Sorry. All of these like dystopian jobs that like you would have, and I just thought it was going to go down that route, and it
Yeah.
didn't. So I like that one. Also, it was shorter than the one about the crackers because that was a bit too long in my opinion.
I hated the poster one.
Yeah,
That
the
one drove
poster
me
one was
crazy.
just
You
boring,
like it?
honestly.
Why not?
Why did you like it?
No, I'm not saying that it was my favorite, but I think it was interesting, the whole like scam part of it, trying
Mhm.
to prey on like the lonely people. I think that was interesting. I don't know.
I
And
just didn't
I
understand
liked
the
how
job.
sorry.
Sorry, I just said I couldn't understand like what her purpose was. Like, what was her role? Just taking down posters and putting them back?
Yeah, just sticking them like in the walls, I guess. But
Yeah.
then they were competing over like space with the lonely folks posters.
But I don't know. I thought that job was so.
Yeah, but she got so into it. Like she
Yeah.
really went down and dirty on the job. It was interesting to see.
But
Yeah,
that's an
but
interesting revelation too, because she didn't want to get like invested in a job.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like in every single one, she got
she
super
got really
invested.
invested. Yeah.
yeah.
Her first job reminded me of my last semester in college, I took a business ethics course, and not to flex on everyone, but like our professor asked us this question, and it was like, if you could get a full-time job and it would pay you like some absurd salary that like would make you set for life, but the job was just sitting in a room on a chair for the 8 hours of a workday, would you do it?
I don't think so.
I mean, like the money, though.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, are you allowed to take a notebook into the room, or it's just you and your thoughts?
that's kind of where it's up to interpretation. Or
Okay,
like he didn't say there were any rules like you couldn't not do that. I think the rule was that you couldn't have your phone with you
okay.
or
I
like
would take a
any access
book.
to internet.
But you would get bored, though. I mean, 8 hours like every
Yeah.
day.
I would take a pen, a
Yeah, I would say,
paper,
yeah.
and a book, and I would just like doodle right on the walls.
Yeah.
Why not? Read, obviously.
Like the purpose
Um,
of the question is to get you to think about what you value in a job. And I was like, when he first asked me, I was like, yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Like I need that money.
yeah,
Like I'll do it for a year or two and make sure I'm set, my family's set, and then quit. And then I can
yeah.
find whatever job that like gives me personal fulfillment, but I need the money first. And a lot of people in my class were like, no, I wouldn't do it for the money or whatever. But I
Really.
think that's what the first chapter made me think about, because I think I would want to go crazy in the first job. I don't think I could survive that.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't as well.
I
Just
think it was the
observing someone
worst,
every
maybe.
day.
Like in terms of boredness, I think it was probably the worst.
Yeah.
The best being maybe the cracker one, because at least it was kind
It
of
was
creative.
creative,
You
yeah.
had the research, and you had like, I mean, it was interesting in the sense. It was a copywriting job, so.
I
Yeah.
think the one that I definitely wouldn't take would be the last one.
That's
I
so
like the
funny.
I was
environment, like the ambiance of it.
no, I was terrified the whole time. And then there was a ghost, and I was like, no, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. The part of with the strange man who was just living out there.
What?
Of course, he like didn't want any harm or anything, but it was just like,
Yeah.
that's too much. That's too scary. She's too
And he was
vulnerable.
obsessed with a football player, and I was just like,
Like
what is
it's
happening?
so funny.
Really?
There was a minor inconvenience in his life, and he just went into the woods to live. I
Yeah.
mean, that's us.
I would like
Yeah.
that.
Taylor Swift not touring in Europe. That's me.
But like the poster job, I think is the one that I even though you're like walking around and talking to people, I think it would be the most boring one out of all of them. Even the first one, I think would be a little bit more entertaining because you don't have to like obviously you have to watch the person that you're watching a lot, but you don't have to watch him all the time. Like you could just put him in the background
Yeah.
and do your stuff. You're at home. It's
Like
a,
if
a remote job.
someone had to watch me, I spend 90% of my time sleeping. They'd be so happy.
Just napping.
Yeah.
Or like, that's what I didn't understand. When he left the house, she didn't see him. So yeah.
And like, did it ever explain like why he was someone that needed to be watched?
It was because of the DVD, right? Like someone borrowed him a DVD which contained something illegal. I don't remember if it
But
was
why
like
did that
jewelry.
happen?
Like they were waiting for something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't remember
but
actually.
why did that person borrow the DVD
No, I
to
think it
that
was like
guy?
it was the friend just said, "Oh, just keep it for a while, please," something like that. You know, like
But that friend knew that there was
yeah, I
something
think
inside of
so.
it.
Yeah, so maybe that person was being watched, and then he just wanted to like get rid of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Like the most interesting part of the job, we don't know. You don't know why you have to watch someone, and I think I
Yeah.
want to know that.
Yeah.
But that's what's compelling. I think it's like I like for instance on the I think on the bus one on the bus routes thingy the advertisements.
Yeah.
On that job, like one of
Oh,
the
we completely forgot
we
about that
weren't
one.
talking about that, but one of the
Yeah.
employees like she would write certain ads and then things would happen. That's so like
Oh no, that was the most interesting one.
that's
Actually,
really
I
nice.
completely forgot about
Yeah.
that one, but that was so interesting that they changed everything about that town,
Yeah,
the
the
route,
neighborhood was
the
just so different
neighborhood.
because
Yeah,
of the
they
advertisements.
ended like jobs, they ended
Yeah,
places.
they
It
Yeah.
almost
was
killed a man.
yeah. No, that was so interesting. Actually, I think that was my favorite because it was just so. It was nonsense on
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
the
that was
whole book is nonsense.
borderline nonsense. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in a
And-
good way, I guess, because
Yeah.
obviously nonsense can be used pejoratively. Yeah.
It's interesting how like as soon as she became someone who people listened to, whether they knew it was her or not, that's when she was like, "Who am I? What am
Yeah.
I doing? Who am I to say anything?" And it's
Yeah.
the existential crisis that.
Yeah. She would say something and be like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
don't take that into account."
Yeah. She was like, didn't she want the old or the former person who worked there before her to like take over? Because she was like, "You're wiser. You know more than I do. You're more
yeah.
qualified."
That one
Was
was
it?
on the cracker, I
That was
think.
yeah. That was on the cracker
But the
job.
thing is, I think that she was a bit of a self saboteur. You know,
Yeah.
like she would get really good at the jobs, and then she would just drop them, like for any reason that would occur.
Yeah, they would always want her, but she would
Yeah,
just be like, "I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
okay."
Which
But it's also because she was trying different things. She wanted to experience from being burned out. She
yeah.
wanted to experience different things other from her original career. So yeah, I guess it makes sense. I would do the same.
I think that's so interesting. I think like I've been so conditioned that like with every job, I have to think about it like I always have the idea that like this is going to be the job that I have for the rest of my life, and I can't do anything to sacrifice that or to risk it. And I'm going to be the best I can be at any job that I have because I like want to work hard and like
Yeah.
earn my money. But then like once you realize that it's like if you don't like it, you don't have to work there. Like it's not that serious.
yeah.
Like,
Well, it depends. It is serious if you know that you're gonna have a hard time finding another job, but I don't think that the character in this book thought that was the case.
yeah,
So good for her, but like
yeah,
in reality, sometimes we have to wait in,
Yeah, but
oh, it's a bad job, but I have to keep it
But-
until I get a better one.
But in this
If I
case,
do.
they were always like precarious jobs. You know, it was just like borderline. I mean, I don't really know how it works in Japan, like, and if 1,000 yens is a lot, but she would always mention that it wasn't very well paying. I think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it was jobs that you didn't have to have a specific education
Yeah.
for it. It was just like jobs that anyone can do.
Yeah.
Like in the last job, there was a student there, I think, like the younger girl, she was like 17 or something. So like
Oh, before her, right?
no, the one that was also working there. I don't know her name anymore. But she was like
Okay.
young,
Okay.
you know. So she didn't have obviously the education
Mhm.
for it. Um but yeah, it was interesting. I did have an issue with the translation. I don't know if you picked it up. But there was a point in the beginning. This is super minor, but I noticed these things, and it just bothers me. At the beginning of the book, they said 1900 hours, which is the 24-hour.
Oh, they said
Did you?
something. They said like, but it was
It
a
was
really
like
strange
7 p.m.
hour.
They said 19.
No, but it was even stranger than that because it was like 6:45 and they said 19 something. Yeah, I picked that up, but
Yeah.
it was really
No,
weird.
no, but that wasn't what I was gonna say.
Oh,
But
okay.
they said like 19 hours in one page, and then a couple of chapters later,
Okay.
they said 2 p.m.
Okay.
So
okay,
they were
okay.
using
Yeah.
the 24-hour clock and the
Oh.
12-hour system that you guys use. So I was just like, what is this person doing?
Come on.
What are they doing with this translation? But yeah, they also messed up the time in the first chapter of the
So it was
surveillance
something
show.
like the British system, which is like 6:30, and you have to like do the math in your head. But it was worse somehow, and I was really confused. But I
Yeah, it
don't
was like
remember.
a quarter to 7, but they said 6.
Yeah, something like that. It was really weird, but I don't remember when it was mentioned.
I hate picking up on these things like in translations. It just makes
Yeah.
me.
Wait, so they said like 6:45, and then
And then it was like a quarter to 7, but then they said like they wrote down 7:45.
Yeah, it
So
was.
it's not quarter to
Oh.
7; it's a quarter to 8. So
Yeah.
like it was something like
Yeah.
that, and I was just like, how can you mess that up?
Yeah, I would be so pissed if this was my book, because I'd be like,
Yeah, I know. Like, oh well. But yeah, overall, it was a nice book. I don't know
Like
if
it.
I don't know if this is their debut book. Let me see. It kind of feels like it. I don't know why.
I don't think so. No, she has
Really?
translate. Oh wait, I don't know.
No, it's not. It's her
Yeah,
third book, fourth book. Okay, so well, I don't know if this published 2015 is like the
maybe the
original
English
book
version.
or the translation. But yeah.
There was another part though that like I think I have this challenge where I always try and connect one of our books back to the Holocaust, and I was able to do it with this one.
Oh, Pedro's reading what is it called?
Angela Merkel.
Tell me I'm worthless right now.
Oh,
Did you like it?
yeah,
You have to go back and watch the live show.
that's a
You can't do
wild
this.
book.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm reading it. I've read 3 chapters. So I've read the one about Alice, the one about
Ela.
Ela, and the one about the house. And
it's
now I'm
pretty
on the next.
horrific.
Continue reading.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were gonna say the Holocaust.
It's-
How can you relate this book to the Holocaust?
Easily. Okay, page 242.
What do you
She even took
mean?
notes. Like,
242.
underlined it.
Yeah.
So she's in the job where she's putting up the posters and trying to get people to talk to her. And I think they're talking about how someone were like breaking into people's houses to try and get people to talk to them, or and the quote is like, goodness, oh goodness, even I would never think of trying to muscle inside people's houses, I thought. Luckily I hadn't been instructed to do so by Mr. Managa either. And this just reminded me of like the whole what's that experiment? But have you heard of the psychological experiment when it's like, how much are you willing to do because an authority figure did it? It's like a psychological
No. I've never heard
experiment.
of that.
Is
There
it
was
the same for
the
like
Milgram experiment. Okay.
What is it
what
called?
is it called?
The Milgram experiment. Well, it was conducted in the US. That's probably why.
Okay.
But like, this is something that if you take like any like intro to AP or intro to psychology in the US, you're going to learn about this. And it was an experiment in the 1950s. And the psychologist was a Jewish American man who wanted to figure out how regular German people could be Nazis. So he conducted this experiment, which by modern ethical standards is not allowed. But basically, there was like 10 people, and they were just regular people who just signed up to be a part of this. And they had to press a button that would send a shock to the person on the other side. And the person on the other side was a paid actor who was hired to like sound like they were in pain and scream. And the experiment was if Dr. Milgram, who wore like a doctor lab coat and looked like very professional, the experiment was if he tells you to keep pressing the button and increase the voltage so the person feels more pain and is experiencing more pain, how many people will do it? Because like the person doing the experiment just thinks that they're doing an experiment and the doctor's telling them to do it. So, and then you can like you can see firsthand the person in pain and screaming and hearing it, and they don't know that the person's faking it.
Yeah.
And like majority of the people did it.
But is the doctor a real doctor or?
No, I mean he's a
okay.
psychologist, but he's not like, if you had a heart attack, you're not going to go to him.
Yeah.
You know?
So he was like the authoritative figure.
Yeah.
He was
that
dressed
you-
like in a lab coat, maybe with
Yeah.
some pens and like with clipboards.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah,
was
and it
looking
just
all profesh.
basically the outcome of that experiment was that if people think you're an authority figure, they'll do a lot for you. So, and it makes, I thought that was an interesting line too, because how much are you willing to do because your boss said to do it? If it's between losing your job and being able to put money or have food or put food on the table or whatever, like you might do something that you otherwise wouldn't think you'd ever do. Like break into someone's house to put up a poster. So
yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
I feel like the book has a lot of those underlying things, but like we were discussing at the beginning, it just never fully went there, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I was hoping for.
Maybe you were hoping that the book wouldn't focus like on, I don't know, 6 jobs and instead on maybe 2 or 3 and maybe develop them a bit more like in terms of
yeah.
themes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because for example, in that sense, the poster job and also the surveillance job and the bus ad job, they were kind of in more with the theme that I wanted the book to explore of like this dystopian society where jobs are controlling people and all of that. But then like the forest job just had nothing to do with it, so maybe I would take that out. Also the cracker job also kind of didn't go there as well. It was just fun.
Yeah.
So maybe I would take it out too. Yeah. I also thought it was interesting in the surveillance job. I think I have it tabbed here. When the guy was looking a lot at the place where the camera was, when she was spying him, because the camera was in like a cabinet and he was looking a lot
at the coffee machine.
They were thinking that it was the coffee machine that was like kind of next to the camera. It's on page 46, 47. And so because of that, to kind of like not make him see the camera that was hiding someplace in the cabinet, they decide to make a competition. Is it a competition?
Yes.
For coffee maker competition or something, and have him apply just so they could not be discovered and the camera discovered. I thought that was just so funny.
Yeah, because the coffee machine was there and they wanted to they didn't want him to get the coffee machine from there.
No, they wanted him to get the coffee machine but not look through the rest of the cabinet. Just like be focused on the coffee machine and get it and participate in this competition.
Yeah.
And not look around because I think it was hiding in like mugs or something.
Yeah.
It was something like that. But I thought that was interesting.
That part reminded me of the Truman Show.
Oh my God, yes.
Right?
The surveillance job is a lot like the Truman Show.
Yeah, which is really scary. That's such a trippy movie to think about. And like, I was like, you're getting too close.
Oh my God. Like I saw the other day that we don't really know the plot of the Barbie movie, but I think it's going to be similar to the Truman Show.
Oh God.
No, that's good. It's going to be good. Don't you like that movie?
Yeah, I heard that like a lot of theories are that it's going to be like kind of similar to this, where like Barbie realized that she's burned out or something
really?
like that. Yeah.
I was thinking that it was maybe going to be about her realizing she's a doll of this brand, because
Yeah.
there's also people that are, when they announce the cast, there's people that are like,
Executives.
yeah, executives and like the
Yeah.
trainee
Yeah.
and the intern or whatever. And I think that's going to be like one side of the story is just like the office, and there's also humans.
Yeah.
America Ferrera is a human. One side of the story is going to be like the office people of Mattel or the Barbie whatever
Mhm.
offices, and it's just like Barbie breaking the fourth wall and being like, "I'm a doll." Like, I
I
think,
don't know. I heard a lot of people say that, like, so I've heard theories that, like, she's being intentionally, or Greta Gerwig is being intentionally vague about the plot of the movie
yeah,
because it's gonna be a lot more hard hitting and relatable than anyone's thinking.
really
Yeah, that's what I've seen on TikTok, but I don't know anything.
okay,
So
intrigued,
because I was
intrigued.
like, I saw the trailer and I Snapchatted my best friend and I was like, Brandon, I simply don't get what everyone's like obsessed about. Like, what is this movie about? I needed him to explain it to me. And like once he did, I was like, oh, I get it. Like it's iconic, but I was like, where's the plot? Like, I don't know what this movie is about. And he was like,
Yeah,
that's not what anyone's focusing on. That's gonna come later. I was
yeah,
like,
I
okay.
think so. Like, even if you go to their IMDb page, it doesn't say anything. It just says like Barbie is living in Barbie world, something like that. Really
Yeah.
vague, no plot at all. Yeah, I think she's being intentional. Um,
It's gonna be a nice
yeah,
movie, I think.
it's gonna be a nice movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, that did remind me of the Truman Show as well.
Yeah.
The whole surveillance job did, and
Yeah.
also the part where they made the competition for like coffee making or something. It was also similar to the the bus ad company thing that she worked
Hmm.
at, because it was like making stuff for the purpose,
Of the job itself.
yeah, of the job itself. Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wanted more of that. That was interesting. That
Yeah.
was fun.
I thought
I
that
did,
the job, right. I was gonna say that I thought the jobs were like impressively super specific.
yeah,
Impressing. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know these were real jobs, or I never thought it. Like, they were so creative and so niche that I was
yeah.
like, that's really cool.
Well, maybe the last one was the least like specific,
Yeah.
because like a lot of people do that, I imagine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually wonder if she actually had any of these jobs, like the author, because
Yeah.
it's what you're saying. They're really specific.
I want to believe that the first job doesn't exist.
Oh, it does.
Not this. I'm gonna look through every cabinet in this house.
Yeah.
No, but I would like to think that it doesn't exist. Also, the bus advert is kind of like
Yeah,
marketing, and
that makes
yeah,
sense. I
it
mean,
makes
the
sense.
part like the surreal part of it, where things are created or killed off,
Yeah,
or almost killed off. I mean, so that maybe that part's not real, but the job itself is.
yeah,
And I guess the cracker one is also like pretty
it's
normal.
real, but like I would think that there wouldn't be so many people working on something so
Yeah,
specific.
yeah, yeah. Because
It's just,
it's not even the purpose of the product. The product is crackers. It's not even
Yeah.
like messages. So it's kind of like
Yeah. The cracker almost reminded me of The Simpsons, and like how there's a lot of conspiracy theories that like The Simpsons predicted certain things,
oh my
and how
god,
like
yes.
reality and The Simpsons have like interacted with each other. And I was like,
right.
that's kind of cool how she's tapping into that. And like I always think like the closest thing that I like thought of was Snapple caps. I don't know if you have that.
Snapple
I
is
know
like
Snapple is
yeah,
like a
soda.
drink
Yeah, it's
with
like nice
apples.
tea. And
Yeah,
then they have like glass bottles, and on the top of it there's like, or on the top of the cap there's like a fun, or the inside there's a fun fact.
Okay.
um
oh really?
but it's like dinosaurs were like 16 million years ago or something like that. It's never like
Yeah,
predicted
it's
or
never anything super deep. It's just
yeah.
like stuff that you know actually
Yeah.
already. um I also remember the last time I was in the US, there's a lot of that kind of like fun facts things on like milk cartons. Is
Hmm.
that? I saw it in like those small milk cartons at
We usually have
the.
missing children on milk cartons.
Yeah,
What?
I've heard that being mentioned in some
I did
songs,
not see
and I
that.
was so like shocked. Like, what?
What
I,
do you
I
mean missing children?
yeah, I don't know. I guess because it's like children drink milk, so if like their chances of you seeing
It's so weird.
it's a very or like they know milk's gonna get into like every household, I guess. But yeah, that's
That's disturbing, actually.
oh, it gets worse.
No, I once saw like fun facts in the back of milk cartons, like small milk cartons that they had at the buffet of the
Yeah.
hotel.
On the
I
other
don't know.
Oh yeah,
side,
they
there
also
was a
have that
missing
at
child.
school, like the small ones at school.
Yeah, maybe the other
Yeah.
side had a child.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it.
You were like, oh, fact.
Exactly. And then like a whole missing child
Yeah.
on the other half. Oh well. Don't know who that is. Anyway. um yeah, I have like, for example, in the bus advert job, I have tabbed a part where she was like thinking of deleting an advert before it went on the air just to see what would happen and just to see the consequences of her not um,
What page is
posting an
it?
ad. Page 102. She was saying, I tried waiting a little and then deleting the advert from the audio data before sending it off to air just to see what would happen. Of course, I didn't tell Mr. Eriguchi that was happening. And then later she says, or someone says, when I went back to the spot where the shop had been, it had closed. It felt like it had just vanished. So it was just like her seeing the consequences of what she was doing. Do you have anything tabbed that you want? I honestly don't have that much tabbed.
I didn't find any like quotes in here that I really liked.
Same. The writing was just like straightforward.
Yeah, the only
I
thing
like that. I really like that. I don't like
Flowery writing.
flowery writing. Yeah.
this is interesting. Okay, so sorry, on 43, page 43, kind of like going back to Mafalda, what you said in the beginning about how it made you think about like the job made you think about like influencers and YouTubers.
Yeah.
I wrote, so she goes, little by little, I was coming to feel like I was living alongside Yame Yamamoto, sharing in his joy and his sadness, his pleasure and his pain. And I tabbed it and I said parasocial relationship forming similar to us and movies and characters.
Yeah.
So I did pick up on that. I just instantly forgot it. But I think that's so scary.
Yeah.
Because like he has no idea that someone's watching you and then feeling this bond. And then that's like how celebrities must feel too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they kind of know that they're being watched.
Yeah, there is like consent.
Worse, in this case, it's a bit worse. Yeah, because worse, I mean, because he doesn't know. Like, he's just living his life. He's just existing.
And then they talked a lot about like just finding jobs to prepare yourself for whenever the next burnout was going to happen. And I thought that was super relatable because like I like basically used up my entire savings when I was like 19 because I felt super burned out because I was like working by the time I legally could. So then I got my therapist like begged me to quit my job and I did. And then I used up my savings and then I was like a couple of years later kind of left scrambling because I needed to take that time. And I used my money for what my savings was intended for at the time. But now it's like, okay, well, baby, if that happens again, you're going to have to keep working because there is no savings to work from. And I just, so like, she kept reiterating that. And I was like, that's kind of like what life has become. I feel like for most people living under capitalism, because it's not like we've kind of, at least in the US, like we've given up like the dream of like owning a house by the time you're 30 or whatever, like settling down or paying off your student debt. So it's more like, I feel like shorter goals that are much more attainable. Like, okay, I can stop working for like 6 weeks or something, or I can take a month off and decompress, and then I have to get back at it or something like that. So
Yeah.
Do
I
you
thought
guys also feel that there, like that you maybe won't be able to buy a house when you're 30 and stuff like that? Do you also feel that in the US?
oh yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I also
Well,
wasn't aware of that.
yeah, I thought that, um,
It was just an European thing.
yeah, and more
oh
specifically like a Portuguese thing because, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's because we're in this bubble and maybe I thought
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I had the idea that in the US things were a bit better, maybe in that
no,
sense at least.
I don't think so. Well, it's interesting because I think that the way here you have to what you have to do in order to buy a house, like say by the time you're 30, is you have to be in a relationship with someone. It can't just be one single income.
Okay.
Okay, it's a bit
Um,
like here then.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
even moving out like to a rented place, it's a lot like that, like here.
yeah, yeah. If I were to move out, I could not move out at this time by myself because I think rent is more than my paycheck.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bit of
Um,
what happens here as well.
Yeah. I
yeah,
have a friend that is basically probably like 90% of what she earns is her rent.
yeah,
She has some help from her parents, but not a lot. So yeah, she's always scrambling for money, and just like trying to save up where she can because
yeah.
the rent she pays alone is just insane. It's more than we pay together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
It's
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 bad.
it's
But
really
she's also
depressing.
in like the center of Lisbon, so
Yeah.
that's why it's more expensive because we're like in the outskirts, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a bit cheaper. But like, yeah, she pays a lot of money, and she's alone, so it's
yeah.
hard.
But
It's
it's also interesting because my brother moved out on his own, and he's like 26, I think, and he lives by himself, and he has a job where he can afford to spend like $3,000 every month on rent
that's
by
that's
himself.
that's a lot. Like
Yeah,
our rents, like it never goes like beyond like the most ridiculously high rents are like a
a
thousand
thousand.
something.
That's
But
crazy that
but
he pays
our
3,000.
minimum wage, yeah, our minimum wage is around 700, so it kind of makes sense.
Okay,
It's like it, yeah,
Yeah,
it balances out. But he lives by himself, and he pays 3,000.
I think so. I think he
So he
pays
gets
between two
paid
thousand.
really well.
Yeah, he gets paid, and that's what's like good for him. But he was a finance major, so I'm like,
Okay.
dang, like, I hate to see them thriving, but like,
I guess it just happens.
yeah, I guess that's the way to go if you want like a stable job. You gotta go corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked this book.
Yeah, same. I don't know if I would reread it.
maybe I would reread some of the jobs because it's a very self-contained book in that
Yeah,
sense. You can read like a part of it and then just skip a whole part afterwards because there's no real like
Yeah, there's no plot
continuation.
like
Yeah,
movement
yeah.
from the stories. Yeah.
it,
It kind of bothered me that some chapters were longer than others. I don't know why. Like the
yeah.
surveillance job was super short, and then the last job, the one in the forest, was
You really hated the one in the forest.
oh
You really hated it.
god. It was interesting, like knowing what was really happening because obviously there wouldn't be a ghost.
It was fun if there was a
But
ghost, though. I think that she missed a little bit of that opportunity to, tap into that part.
I think it would just like be spreading herself too thin. Like going into like she's already, I feel, slightly going into a lot of topics in this
Mhm.
book.
Okay.
So I think it would be even
Too
more
much.
going into like the paranormal stuff. Like no,
It would be unexpected.
it would be unexpected. Like that's why I was so, oh my god, I want to know what is happening. But
Yeah.
then there was the answer, and I was just like, okay. And also the job just seemed terrifying.
Yeah.
I would shit myself. Like I was imagining like a super dark forest.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
was
if you guys
imagining
were
more like
imagining the
Evermore.
same. What? Sorry.
I was imagining more of Evermore.
I was like
Just like-
imagining like deep folklore, like super dark, super like misty and not whimsical at all. Just like scary.
Just scary. Uh-oh.
Anyway, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I'll tell
Okay,
you.
I thought you were like looking at.
Oh,
emails.
sorry. I was trying to, but I ended up. I'm not reading any emails. It's
Okay.
after 5. But I'll tell you that I am reading Dog Flowers right now.
Oh my god, I need to order it. I still don't have it.
What?
I know. I should be reading it this week, but I completely forgot.
Afterwards.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna order it. Right, I'm gonna like order it from Amazon just to be quicker,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna like order it like the fastest way possible. Express, please. I need the book by tomorrow. But I still haven't read The Romantic Agenda. I think I'm gonna read that one first. So
Yeah. Thankfully, like
yeah.
I doubt you'll be able. Like I think this will be easy to get through.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna.
have that one already, right?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
But yeah, hello, bye everyone. No, not bye everyone, but like we're gonna read The Romantic Agenda in April. Please
Yes.
hold it up. And also Dog Flowers for the Nonfiction Baddies book club.
Yeah.
And
And
Yeah.
Dog Flowers is really intense.
Oh
So
my
just
God.
be ready for it. It is. It's like it's a tiny book, but it's really sad.
Really, but it's a memoir, right?
Yes.
I'm already crying.
Get ready.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And we will see you on our next one, which will be on Casey channel.
Yeah. Beginning of May, maybe.
Beginning of May. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.